Home to a race of highly advanced and intellectual beings, the planet Zalarian has always prided itself on its progressiveness. Yet beneath this facade of superiority lay deep-rooted prejudices, especially against other species. One such prejudice was against humans, whom Xylarian saw as savage and primitive. Zalara, an experienced diplomat, had been chosen for a mission to Earth to establish a formal alliance. Despite her extensive training and knowledge, she harbored the same prejudices as her peers, especially against human males who were constantly at war. Zalara's perception was about to be challenged in a way she could never have anticipated. As the sleek silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere, she prepared herself for what she expected to be a primal encounter. Little did she know that this mission would not only change her views, but touch her very core, revealing the depth and complexity of human nature. Chapter 1: Arrival on Earth. The air was filled with a tense excitement as the people of Washington, D.C., gathered to witness a momentous event. In a secured area of the city, a vast expanse had been cleared to serve as the landing site for the Xylarian spacecraft. Security personnel, diplomats, scientists, and journalists buzzed about, their faces reflecting a mix of anticipation and anxiety. This day would mark the beginning of a new chapter in interstellar relations, one that could either forge a lasting alliance or expose insurmountable differences. High above, the sky shimmered with an otherworldly glow as the Xylarian vessel descended. The craft was sleek and elegant, a silver teardrop gliding silently through the atmosphere. Its surface gleamed under the midday sun, reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. The humans below watched in awe, their collective breath held in anticipation of what was to come. Among the gathered crowd stood Dr. Ethan Carter, a leading xenobiologist chosen for his expertise and his ability to connect with alien life forms. Ethan was a tall, athletic man in his mid-30s, with dark hair and piercing green eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. He wore a tailored suit that emphasized his professional demeanor, but his mind was racing with curiosity and excitement. As the spacecraft touched down gently, his heart pounded with the significance of the moment. The hatch of the Xylarian craft opened with a soft hum, and a ramp extended to the ground. A figure emerged, tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like liquid sapphire. Ambassador Xylara descended the ramp with an air of regal composure, his violet eyes scanning the assembly with a detached curiosity. He was dressed in a flowing garment of iridescent fabric that seemed to shift colors with every movement, a testament to the advanced technology of his people. Ethan stepped forward, extending a hand in a gesture of greeting. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Xylara. I'm Dr. Ethan Carter, head of xenobiology." Xylara paused, his gaze lingering on Ethan's extended hand. After a moment, he inclined his head in acknowledgement, choosing to bow slightly rather than shake hands. "Greetings, Dr. Carter. I'm here to establish a mutual understanding and cooperation between our worlds." Their first interaction was formal, almost cold, each sizing up the other. Ethan noted Xylara's reserved demeanor, his eyes sharp and calculating. There was a flicker of something akin to disdain in Xylara's eyes, as if he were observing a specimen rather than an equal. Yet, beneath the surface, a spark of curiosity was ignited in both men, an unspoken challenge that neither was willing to voice just yet. The initial meeting was held in a grand conference room within a nearby government building, adorned with flags and symbols of Earth's nations. The room was designed to impress, with its high ceilings, ornate chandeliers, and walls lined with historical artifacts. The human delegation, composed of scientists, politicians, and cultural experts, sat around a large oval table, waiting for the proceedings to begin. Xylara entered the room with a fluid grace, accompanied by a small retinue of Xylarian aides. As he took his seat, his eyes flickered over the assembled humans, cataloging their features and expressions. To him, they seemed eager, perhaps overly so, and he wondered if their enthusiasm masked a deeper insecurity. Ethan sat directly across from Xylara, his expression calm and composed. As the head of the delegation, he opened the meeting with a presentation on Earth's advancements. He spoke about medical breakthroughs, technological innovations, and cultural achievements, highlighting the diversity and ingenuity of human civilization. The holographic displays behind him showed images of bustling cities, advanced laboratories, and stunning works of art, painting a vivid picture of Earth's potential. Zilara listened in silence, his expression impassive. He was impressed by the technological strides humans had made, yet he couldn't shake off his deeply ingrained beliefs about their emotional volatility. When Ethan spoke passionately about the importance of understanding and empathy in diplomacy, Zalara's skepticism only deepened. He had been taught that emotions were a weakness, a primitive trait that his own people had long since transcended. After the presentation, the floor was opened for questions and discussions. The human diplomats asked about Zalarian's advancements, their societal structure, and their expectations for the alliance. Zalara answered with practiced diplomacy, revealing just enough to satisfy their curiosity without giving away too much. His responses were measured, his tone even, but there was an undercurrent of superiority that did not go unnoticed by the human delegation. As the meeting drew to a close, Ethan couldn't help but feel a tinge of frustration. He had sensed Xalara's dismissive attitude, but he was determined to prove him wrong. He saw this mission not just as a professional duty, but as a personal challenge to bridge the gap between their worlds. He resolved to find a way to connect with Xalara, to show him that humanity was more than the sum of its perceived flaws. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Ethan stood by his office window, lost in thought. The initial meeting had been a success in terms of formalities, but he knew that true understanding would require much more than just words. He was determined to show Xalara the depth and complexity of human nature, to challenge his prejudices and open his eyes to a new perspective. In a nearby suite, Xalara sat in quiet contemplation, reviewing the day's events. His mind was a whirl of conflicting thoughts. He had expected to find a primitive, emotional species, yet there was something about Ethan that intrigued him. Despite his initial dismissiveness, he couldn't deny the man's intelligence and dedication. For the first time, Xalara found himself questioning his own beliefs, wondering if perhaps there was more to humanity than he had been led to believe. Chapter 2: Cultural Exchange. The days following Xalara's arrival were filled with a whirlwind of activities designed to introduce the Xylarian diplomat to the multifaceted nature of human civilization. The Earth delegation had meticulously planned a series of cultural exchanges to showcase their planet's rich heritage, technological advancements, and artistic achievements. For Xalara, these experiences were both enlightening and challenging, as they continually tested his preconceptions about humanity. Dr. Ethan Carter, who had taken on the unofficial role of Xalara's guide, was determined to make a compelling case for Earth sophistication. Ethan's deep knowledge of human history, science, and art made him an ideal ambassador for this mission. His enthusiasm was palpable, and he approached each cultural exchange with a mixture of pride and excitement, hoping to impress upon Xaira the complexity and beauty of human society. The museum visit. Their first stop was the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. As they walked through the grand halls filled with artifacts and exhibits, Ethan explained the significance of each display. He talked about the evolution of life on Earth, from the earliest microorganisms to the rise of complex civilizations. Zalara listened intently, his violet eyes scanning each exhibit with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. "This," Ethan said, gesturing to a towering skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus rex, is one of our most famous prehistoric creatures. It lived millions of years ago, long before humans appeared. Zalara tilted his head, studying the massive bones. "Your planet's history is indeed ancient and varied. It is impressive that your species has managed to uncover and preserve these remnants." Ethan smiled, pleased with Xalara's interest. "Our understanding of the past helps us appreciate the present and shape our future. It's a way of connecting with our roots and learning from the mistakes and triumphs of those who came before us." As they moved to the section dedicated to human civilizations, Ethan's explanations became more animated. He spoke of the great empires of antiquity, the philosophers and scientists who had shaped human thought, and the artistic masterpieces that had transcended time. Zalara found himself drawn to the stories of innovation and resilience, noting the parallels and divergences with Xylarian history. The concert. Next, Ethan took Solara to a concert at the Kennedy Center, featuring a performance by the National Symphony Orchestra. As they settled into their seats, the lights dimmed and the orchestra began to play. The music flowed through the hall, a symphony of sound that seemed to transcend the barriers of language and culture. Solara closed his eyes, allowing the music to wash over him. Each note, each crescendo and diminuendo evoked emotions he had not anticipated. The complexity and depth of the composition surprised him, challenging his preconceived notions about human creativity. When the final note faded, the audience erupted in applause. Ethan turned to Solara, his eyes shining with excitement. Music is a universal language. It speaks to our emotions and connects us in ways that words often cannot. Solara nodded slowly, his expression contemplative. It is a powerful form of expression. I had not expected to be so moved by it. Your species has a remarkable ability to convey complex emotions through sound. The scientific laboratory. The following day, Ethan arranged a visit to a cutting-edge research facility. Here, scientists were working on projects ranging from advanced medical treatments to renewable energy solutions. Ethan led Solara through the pristine, high-tech laboratories, introducing him to some of the leading minds in various fields. One of the scientists, Dr. Maria Gonzalez, demonstrated a breakthrough in gene editing technology. She explained how they were using CRISPR to potentially cure genetic diseases, a concept that intrigued Solara deeply. Your advancements in medical science are impressive, Solara remarked. On Zalarian, we have similar technologies, but your approach to research and innovation is uniquely driven by a sense of urgency and compassion. Ethan nodded. Our history has taught us the value of perseverance and the importance of caring for each other. It's a driving force behind much of our scientific progress. As they continued their tour, Solara observed the collaborative spirit among the scientists. The exchange of ideas, the debates, and the shared goal of improving life on Earth resonated with him. He began to see the parallels between his own society's pursuit of knowledge and the human spirit of inquiry. The Art Gallery. Their final stop was an art gallery showcasing works from various cultures and eras. Ethan guided Solara through the gallery, explaining the significance of different art movements and the stories behind some of the most iconic pieces. They paused before a painting by Vincent van Gogh, the swirling colors and intense brushstrokes capturing a night sky filled with stars. This is Starry Night, one of Van Gogh's most famous works, Ethan said. It's a testament to the beauty and turmoil that can exist within a single soul. Solara studied the painting, his eyes tracing the vibrant hues. It is extraordinary how your artists can convey such depth of emotion through their creations. This piece speaks to a part of me I did not know existed. Ethan glanced at Solara, noting the change in his tone. Art has a way of reaching into our hearts and minds, revealing truths we might not be aware of. It's a reflection of our humanity. Solara remained silent, lost in thought. The cultural exchanges had shown him a side of humanity he had not expected to see. He had witnessed their intellectual achievements, their artistic expressions, and their emotional depths. Each experience had chipped away at his preconceived notions, forcing him to reconsider his views on human males. The unexpected connection. As the day drew to a close, Ethan and Solara found themselves on a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The sky was painted with the hues of sunset, casting a warm glow over the landscape. Ethan leaned against the railing, a thoughtful expression on his face. I hope these experiences have given you a deeper understanding of our world, Ethan said softly. Solara nodded. They have. Your planet is far more complex and advanced than I initially believed. Your people possess a resilience and creativity that is truly remarkable. Ethan smiled, a sense of accomplishment washing over him. I'm glad to hear that. I believe that by understanding and respecting each other's cultures, we can build a stronger foundation for our future cooperation. Solara turned to face Ethan, his violet eyes reflecting the fading light. You have shown me a side of humanity I had not anticipated. Your intelligence, passion, and dedication are qualities I deeply admire. I find myself questioning the prejudices I held. Ethan's heart skipped a beat at the sincerity in Solara's voice. I'm honored to have had the chance to change your perspective. And I have to admit, you've challenged my own views in ways I didn't expect. A moment of silence passed between them, the weight of their words hanging in the air. In that instant, a connection formed, a bridge of mutual respect and understanding that transcended the vast differences between their worlds. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the city in twilight, Exilara and Ethan stood together, united by the shared experiences of the past few days. They had embarked on a journey of discovery, one that had not only deepened their understanding of each other's cultures, but also forged a bond that would shape the future of their respective worlds. Chapter 3: The Challenge. The tension in the room was palpable. The grand conference room, adorned with the flags of Earth's nations and the Xylarian insignia, felt suddenly small and stifling. A critical document, essential to the ongoing peace talks, had been mistranslated, leading to a perceived slight against the Xylarian delegation. Zalara's eyes, usually calm and calculating, now held a flicker of irritation as he exchanged sharp words with the human diplomats. "This is unacceptable," Exilara said, his voice low but firm. "Such an error implies a lack of respect and diligence. We came here in good faith, but if this is how you handle sensitive matters—" "Ambassador Exilara," interjected one of the human diplomats, a middle-aged woman with a harried expression, "we assure you this was an honest mistake. We can correct it immediately." Ethan, who had been observing from the sidelines, stepped forward. His usually calm demeanor was replaced with a sense of urgency. "Ambassador Exilara, may I have a word?" he asked, meeting the alien's gaze with steady determination. Exilara nodded curtly, and they moved to a quieter corner of the room. Ethan could feel the weight of the situation bearing down on him. This was more than a simple mistranslation. It was a potential diplomatic disaster that could unravel weeks of careful negotiation. "Ambassador," Ethan began, choosing his words carefully, "I understand how this must look, but I can assure you it was a genuine mistake. I propose that we hold a smaller, more focused meeting with key representatives from both sides to resolve this quickly. The longer we let this fester, the harder it will be to regain trust." Zalara studied Ethan, his violet eyes narrowing slightly. "Dr. Carter, do you believe a simple meeting can rectify such an error? Your people must understand the importance of precision in diplomacy." Ethan nodded. "I do. And I believe that by addressing this head-on, we can demonstrate our commitment to this alliance. Let's show our delegations that we can work through this together." After a moment of contemplation, Zalara inclined his head. "Very well, Dr. Carter. Arrange this meeting, but understand, this is your responsibility now." Ethan felt a surge of determination. "Thank you, Ambassador. I won't let you down." The smaller meeting was arranged in a more intimate setting, a conference room with a circular table to facilitate open dialogue. Representatives from both Earth and Xylarian were present, including Ethan and Exilara. The atmosphere was tense, but there was a shared understanding that the success of this meeting was crucial. Ethan began by addressing the room. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. We are here to address a significant issue that arose due to a mistranslation. It's vital that we clear up any misunderstandings and reaffirm our commitment to this diplomatic mission." He then turned to Exilara. "Ambassador, could you please explain the Xylarian perspective on the mistranslation so we fully understand the gravity of the situation?" Zalara nodded, his expression stern but controlled. The document in question was meant to outline the terms of our technological exchange. However, the translation presented to us suggested that we would be providing technology without receiving any compensation or benefits in return. This implies that we are being taken advantage of, which implies that we are being taken advantage of, which is an affront to our integrity. Murmurs of concern rippled through the human representatives. Ethan held up a hand to quiet them. "Thank you, Ambassador. I apologize for this oversight. I have reviewed the original document, and I believe the error stemmed from a misinterpretation of a key phrase in our language. Our intent was to propose a mutual exchange, where both sides benefit equally." Ethan then presented a revised document, which had been meticulously reviewed and corrected. "This version reflects our true intentions. I ask that you and your team review it carefully." As Exilara and the Zalarian representatives examined the revised document, Ethan continued, "We value this alliance deeply and have the utmost respect for Zalarian's contributions. This mistake does not reflect our intentions, and we are committed to ensuring such errors do not occur again." The room fell silent as Exilara read through the document. The tension was almost unbearable, but Ethan remained calm, knowing that this moment was critical. Finally, Zalara looked up. "This revised document is much clearer. I see now that the mistranslation did indeed misrepresent your intentions. However, such mistakes cannot be taken lightly." Ethan nodded. "I agree, Ambassador. That's why I propose we establish a joint translation committee to oversee all future documents. This committee will include members from both Earth and Zalarian to ensure accuracy and mutual understanding." There was a murmur of approval from both sides. Zilara regarded Ethan with a new level of respect. "Dr. Carter, your proposal is sound. It shows a willingness to learn from mistakes and a commitment to our shared goals. I accept your apology and the revised document." Relief washed over the room. The potential crisis had been averted, and the path to continued cooperation was clear. As the meeting concluded, Ethan felt a sense of accomplishment. He had not only resolved a critical issue, but had also demonstrated the importance of trust and communication in diplomacy. Later that evening, Ethan found himself alone in the conference room, reviewing the day's events. He felt a presence behind him and turned to see Exilara standing there. "Ambassador," Ethan said, surprised. Zilara stepped forward, his expression thoughtful. "I wanted to speak with you, Dr. Carter. Your actions today were commendable. You showed leadership and an understanding of our concerns. It made me reconsider some of my earlier judgments." Ethan smiled, a hint of fatigue in his eyes. "Thank you, Ambassador. I believe that true diplomacy requires not just agreements but understanding and respect." Zilara nodded. "Indeed. I came here with many preconceived notions about your people, particularly your males. Today you have shown me that there is much more to your species than I initially believed." Ethan met Exilara's gaze. "We all have our biases, Ambassador. The key is to be willing to see beyond them and learn from each other." Zilara's expression softened. "I look forward to continuing this journey of discovery, Dr. Carter. Together, we can achieve great things." As Exilara left the room, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenge had not only strengthened the diplomatic mission, but had also begun to bridge the gap between their worlds. The journey ahead was still long and fraught with difficulties, but Ethan knew that with mutual respect and understanding, they could overcome any obstacle. In that moment, Ethan realized that this mission was about more than just politics. It was about forging a new path for humanity and Zalarian, one built on trust, respect, and the willingness to learn from each other. And in that, he found hope for the future.